Uh, as usual, I'm a bit late. I'm sorry about that, but it really wouldn't be a stream by me if I wasn't a bit fucking late, so who gives a shit? What we're doing today, I'm a bit drunk. It's kind of in the title. I found a short thing by Crowder. Well, okay, first of all, I haven't seen any of this shit before. I'm just doing this because I thought it'd be fucking hilarious. The reason I haven't uploaded in quite a bit is because as you guys might know, I am working on an album that's going to be released soon, and yeah, that's the reason I have not been uploading so much. But my single Best Side is almost finished, so it's going to be released soon. I'm also going to be releasing a sort of like semi-scripted-ish video essay soon, I think a bit before that, on BreadTube and stuff like that. So look out for that as well. Really, the next 2, maybe 3 weeks, it's gonna be a lot of content coming out for me, so at least I hope so, but you never fucking know, fucking autistic, so. But I mean, just look forward to it, you know what I'm saying? Just look forward to it, that's all I'm saying. Is there anything I'm missing? I made a new Insta. You should check it out because I'm hot as fuck. Especially when I'm not being filmed at this horrible angle by my webcam. But yeah, I guess we can just jump into it. Just give me a couple of seconds. Just let me make sure I'm not missing anything, and then we can start. Isn't it crazy how fast the Taliban took over Afghanistan? That shit is crazy. But not that crazy. It's still kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? Again, guys, remember, I've not watched these beforehand.
No.
So, it's gonna be as new for me as it is for you. This one's kind of short. But, it's called Improving the Quality of Lives for Transgenders. So I assumed it was going to be incredible, amazing, and tremendous, and wow, and oh my god, you know what I'm saying? So let's check it out.
Improve the quality of life for transgenders, and I think you want society to be. I think that you want to improve the quality of life for transgenders, and I think you want society to be as functional and tolerant as possible.
Sure. Whenever conservatives start off an argument with me, they always start off with some like, I'm sure you want people to be alive and not die, and then for not to be suffering, and I am sure that you like not destruction. And I'm like, sure. I know this is not going in a good direction.
And that's certainly my objective.
Yeah, sure, buddy.
No, my position isn't there's not enough data. I want to be very clear because I know a lot of
data. What do you need data on? There's not enough data on the transgenders for me to decide whether or not I want to treat them like human beings. Okay.
Sometimes people will have people from opposing viewpoints and sort of feign middle ground. No, my position is that there is such overwhelming data right now that it's not good.
I see. So there was data, right? They did the study and the conclusion said not good. Transgender, not good. Now, he has no description. I'm even surprised at that one. So I can't check if he has a source on that one. Apparently, I just have to believe that the data says the thing. I know.
Of course, people who are bullied, people who are mistreated, people who are abused probably have increased rates of suicidality. I think we would both agree with that.
Sure.
But the truth is,
oh my god, is it really gonna...
that minority groups in general actually have lower suicide rates. For example, blacks compared to whites.
Okay. Even if that were true, right, that black people have lower suicide rates than white people, which I'm almost certain that's not true. I would have to look it up. In fact, we can look it up right after. But even if that were true, that wouldn't say anything about transgender people. I know that since you're a cishet and you're a fascist, that you think that all minority groups are the same, but unfortunately that is not the case.
In society outside of modern transgenderism.
Well, oh, yeah, but I mean, I would hazard a guess to think that that is mainly because they are more mistreated in society than most groups, you know? Unfortunately, transgender people and people in the LGBT community are harassed and bullied far, far more than most minority groups, even black people. The only other thing I can think that is somewhat comparable to that is autistic people, and those two things are extremely interlinked anyway. Like, even if that were true, right? But let's say that there was something inherently suicidal about the transgender condition, right? And so what? You making this fucking argument, it doesn't change anything, right? Like, people aren't gonna hear, like, this is like the equivalent of the being gay is a choice argument, right? Like, do you think that, like, people are gonna hear that there's a high suicide rate among transgender people and then not be transgender? Would you expect the same thing of, like, autistic people, for instance? Is get rid of my, like, imagine if this was autistic people, right? And he was like, yeah, well, the data shows that it sucks to be an autistic person. And you'd be like, yeah, that's true. It'd be like, yeah, so maybe we should stop harassing them, right? And he'd be like, yeah, but you don't understand. The data shows that autistic people are killing themselves. And it'd be like, not only is that a non sequitur, you're almost proving my point, you know what I'm saying? So, objectives makes people's lives better, but we shouldn't listen to those people for how to make their lives better. Yeah, basically. Okay, let's move on. We're talking about the 10 Commandments, right? Okay, so I happen to be, I think, sort of fairly educated, at least somewhat, in comparison to most people, on topic of religion and Christianity especially. So, you know, maybe they will say some shit that, like, I can debunk. I don't know. I mean, like, it's PragerU, so I doubt that, like, either way, no matter what video is going on, that it would take that much effort to show you why what they were saying is bullshit. This is why I call it a low-hanging fruit, but you never know. Okay, let's go, guys.
No document in world history so changed the world for the better as did the 10 Commandments.
That was significantly worse of an opener than I expected it to be. Wow. Incredible.
Western civilization, the civilization that developed universal human rights,
I'm gonna go drink a little bit more. Give me a second. Okay. I took another shot. Hopefully that smooths me out. It gets worse, yeah. I get the feeling it's gonna get even worse than that. Okay, so this nigga said that they invented universal human rights. Apparently, that was North America, apparently. So, there have been many civilizations before and after America's founding that had all the rights and more of America, at least the ones that people care about. And this goes all the way back to like Cyrus the Great and the original Achaemenid Empire, the Persian Empire. But even then, like Cyrus the Great, I don't think he was really the person who came up with like the concept of universal human rights. But he is sort of like one of the most famous notable examples of like one of the earliest sort of like leaders who championed the concept of universal human rights, at least within the context of the state. Sound like a potent shot? Yeah, well, it's rum. I only drink, well, not only, but I mainly drink rum. So, I mean, like, I feel like I shouldn't even have to say this, that America did not invent human rights. It certainly does not now have, like, it depends on what you mean by universal human rights. I mean, like, there's certainly many rights that many people do not have and wish it could have. I mean, I'm sure Dennis Prager doesn't know about that considering his position, but, I mean, it's a reality. And it seems like university just means for all people. But even in that case, it's not really the case, at least for America. I mean, isn't this the same guy who was like championing a Muslim ban? So like, he supported Trump. So.
Created women's equality.
Wow. Incredible. This man just lie, don't give a fuck. But, okay. So this nigga said that North America invented women's equality. Incredible. Imagine thinking that women are equal, have equal rights in America. Amazing. Imagine that, thinking that men and women like operate in like equal spheres of like, I mean, equality of what? I don't even fucking know. But like, imagine thinking that there's any area really in which men and women are have achieved parity. Incredible, bro. Incredible. The ironic thing is that every time society approaches getting closer to universal human rights, conservatives are the ones who oppose it too. So, yeah, I don't give a fuck. Don't know, I'm lying, dog. And lie every day.
Ended slavery.
Amazing. Incredible, dog. Incredible. America was like one of the last nations to end slavery. Literally. Alright? Many places before any of the European nations had banned slavery. Alright? Banning slavery is certainly nothing fucking new. Alright? It goes back to ancient times. Alright? If you're talking about the transatlantic slave trade, America was one of the last nations who ended that. Two, this is probably the most important and most obvious point. they started it, so like, oh wow, like you expect me to give you credit for ending genocide? Come on, man, come on. For being ridiculous. I know this is man lying, but still, it's ridiculous.
Created parliamentary democracy, among other unique achievements, would not have developed without.
He said it invented parliamentary democracy.
Parliamentary
that might be true. I'm not sure, actually.
democracy, among other unique achievements, would not have developed without.
Without the Ten Commandments. I genuinely want to know, which one of the Ten Commandments did they use to invent parliamentary democracy? I have to know, dog. I have to know. Which one of the Ten Commandments created parliamentary? Let's look them all up, actually. I can't remember them by heart. Okay, I'm the Lord thy God. Very influential in parliamentary democracy. No other gods before me. Again, very influential in parliamentary democracy. I mean, I guess you could say that, like, the king is like a god? I don't know. But then in that case, like, I mean, like, parliamentary democracy isn't like the only way to like run a country. Like the fucking, like, the Christians or the Americans or whatever, they certainly did not invent parliament. Did not invent the concept of democracy, and certainly did not invent fucking the idea of getting rid of a king and not having a king. So, like, democracy. Remember the Sabbath day. I remember when they were inventing parliamentary democracy, they said we have to make sure people remember the Sabbath day. We're not going to write anything about it, but we have to make sure people remember it, dog. Honor thy father and thy mother. Very influential in parliamentary democracy. Thou shalt not kill. Again, it's clear to me that before parliamentary democracy, everyone was killing everyone. There's no rules or morality around killing, so, and we don't have to read the rest, right? Like, don't commit adultery, don't steal, don't bear false witness, don't covet. I mean, come on, man. Come on.
As you will see when each of the 10 commandments is explained, these commandments are as...
I'm waiting. My body is ready, dog. I'm waiting for a fucking pounding. Really. I'm fucking submissive as shit, and I want to get fucked out, dog. Please. Tell me. Today, please tell me.
Is when they were given over 3,000 years ago. In fact, they're so relevant that the 10 commandments are all that is necessary to make a good world, a world free of tyranny and cruelty.
Incredible. There's not even a commandment against rape, so, like...
Imagine for a moment a world in which there was no murder or theft.
And everyone remembered the Sabbath, and everyone was honoring thy father and their mother, even if thy father and thy mother raped them. And everyone fucking, I don't know, everyone was not taking the Lord's name in vain. Then we would have global peace, dog. Then, only then.
In such a world, there would be no need for armies, or police, or weapons.
Does this nigga really think that, like, the fucking Jews and were the first people to think of maybe niggas shouldn't kill niggas? Is that what he really thinks? Wow.
Imagine further a world in which no one coveted what belonged to their neighbor.
That'd be awful. I mean, I'm sure you want that because you live in one of those houses and you're afraid of all the fucking poor and the black people who are trying to execute you because you exist and you are annoying constantly. But for a person who is not a demon, coveting is actually pretty normal because we live in an unequal society that has where the distribution of wealth is based off of completely arbitrary market forces. So, but it's not arbitrary in the sense that, like, I mean, you know how the fucking market works. I mean, like, why do, like, I don't know, why are some of the most wealthy people fucking like actors and niggas like this who make Prager videos? Because the world is fucked up, clearly. So,
a world in which children honor their mother and father and the family unit thrives.
That'd be awful, dog. That'd be terrible. Terrible, terrible. I'm sure he wants that because he probably fucking abuses children. If he has any, probably fucking abuse them. So he wants that. But for normal people, it's awful, dog. Awful. I still gotta on my mother to keep if they don't. Bro, that's what I'm saying. Do you have to honor your mother and your father if they're not keeping the Sabbath? Because I'm pretty sure you have to stone them or whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? So, and what if your mother was doing adultery, though? Then you have to stone her. But how can you stone any honor? But actually, I think that's what they call honor killings. Prager wants people to covet his house, that's why he owns a big house. I mean, yeah, that's actually kind of true. That's probably the case. I mean, I have no fucking idea why white people buy these massive fucking houses. Like, yo, do you go outside? Do you go outside? Why you need so many fucking rooms, dog? I don't understand.
That's why the sentence preceding the Ten Commandments asserts the following. God spoke all these words. You see, if the Ten Commandments, as great as they are,
and by God, I'm talking about the mad kush that I was smoking on fucking Mount Sinai, dog. That shit was incredible. Alright, the shit looked like, that shit was white. Alright, white with the fucking resin. Alright.
And any person could say, who is this man Moses? Who is this king or queen? Who is this government to tell me how I should behave?
Which government had like no laws against murder and stealing and I mean, like, I guess like they weren't like punishing lies or coveting, probably, but like other than that, I mean, like, were there any governments that were like banning, I don't know, not taking the Lord's name in vain? They just forced you to take the Lord's name in vain all the time? What? Also, how is I am the Lord thy God a commandment? It's just a statement. What the fuck? Whatever. I mean, like, a better commandment would be like, worship me because I'm God. But just like a statement that you're God isn't really a commandment in itself, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you're God, and
To put it as directly as possible, if it isn't God who declares murder wrong, murder isn't wrong.
Why? I hear Christians saying this bullshit all the time. God has to exist for murder to be wrong. Bro, that says something about you! You and not me, alright? I am not killing niggas for no reason, alright? It is clear to me, alright, that you're making this argument that you, without the existence of fucking God, would just be killing out niggas, alright? And knowing him, he'd probably get away with it, fucking American psycho looking ass, so.
Yes, this strikes many people today as incomprehensible, even absurd. Many of you are thinking, is this guy saying you can't be a good person if you don't believe in God?
That's exactly what you're saying, dude, and I'm pretty sure you said this many times before, so I don't know how you're making this. You're doing the fucking, like, what I call this shit, anticipating fucking counter argument shit when, like, yo, like, you said this shit before, so, like.
Let me respond as clearly as possible. I am not saying that.
I'm pretty sure you just said that. So, like, yo, you can't just say a thing say, are you saying that thing? And say, no, I'm not saying that, and then get away with it, dog. Alright, I heard what you said before. Alright, I'm not stupid.
I have no doubt that if you're an atheist and you say that you believe murder is wrong, you believe murder is wrong. But forgive me, you do need God to tell you. We all need God to tell us. You see, even if you figured out murder is wrong...
I've heard this argument before too, like, lol, God gave you the morality, like, in your mind or some shit. Like, yo, that's an unfalsifiable hypothesis. It can't be disproven, alright? I could just as easily say that the fucking flying teapot in the sky was the one who gave you the morality to not kill niggas, alright? That would make it true. I could say it was Allah, I could say it was fucking Vishnu, I could say it was anyone, alright? Alright, like, this is the worst argument ever, alright? It can be used in any context. All you would have to do is just replace the fucking name, alright?
Own.
Like, niggas are acting like there aren't any, like, evolutionary advantages to humans being opposed to wanton murder, stealing, fucking, and all the other shit. You know what I'm saying? Where that's clearly not the case. So,
Without God and the Ten Commandments, how do you know it's wrong? Not believe it's wrong.
how do I know it's wrong? Wrong in what sense? Do you mean like it's logically wrong? That if I murder somebody, that's like a false equation or something? What do you mean? You mean morally wrong, but I mean, like, as I've explained in one of my video essays, Why Your Morals Suck, every belief that something is wrong is a belief. There is no factual statement that something is morally wrong. That's not a thing. Alright? Anything else is your own fucking delusion. Alright, I'm sorry to say. I'm sorry to say.
Wrong. I mean, know it's wrong.
You don't. If you say that you do, you're wrong. You're a dumbass. I'm sorry to say.
Unless there is a God, all morality is just opinion and belief.
Okay. And? Like, did he ever consider, like, the possibility that that statement is like, the clause at the end there, all morality is just opinion and belief? Did he ever consider at any point that statement might be true? No, because he has an ideological, he's ideologically wedded to the idea that his garbage opinions, his garbage immoral way of living his life is his unthinking way of living his life, his disconnection from the struggles of regular people. He wants to believe that all of that, right, is irrelevant, and all he needs to do is follow the Ten Commandments, because if he thought otherwise, he would have to admit that he's a demon, right? He's a demon, and he probably deserves a horrible, horrible fate. You know what I'm saying? So,
Another problem with the view that you don't need God to believe that murder is wrong is a lot of people haven't shared your view. And you don't have to go back very far in history to prove this. In the 20th century, millions of people in
I'm going to take another drink, guys. Sorry about that. If communists are better and bad, we are 100%. All communists fucking, like, honestly, communist sex, best sex. I have to be honest with you. Mainly because it is extremely violent. The funny thing about the argument that he's about to make, the commies and how they kill niggas, is I mean, I don't think I have to tell anyone, really. Both in the modern day, and especially before the formation of the Soviet Union, there was a lot of state-sanctioned fucking murder, alright? There was a lot. The Soviet Union, in comparison to many other states, was actually tame in this regard. Okay? The fact that he chose the Soviet Union, and not, for example, I don't know, the Nazis, kind of shows where his ideological bent is coming from. That's all I have to say about that.
Societies and under Nazism killed about 100 million people, and that doesn't count.
Oh, well, to be fair, he did bring up the Nazis.
In the 20th century,
I'm gonna be fair to him on that one. I mean, he could have brought up, like, I mean, I think conservatives like to do this a lot. They'll say, "Oh, I brought up the Nazis too, so both extremes, huh?" And it's like, no, they're not the same. I also made a video on that, which you can check out. It's called "You Cannot Compare the Far Left to the Far Right." It's a great video. Around the time similar arguments were being made, I decided to sort of eliminate the possibility of that argument, or at least not eliminate it, but like have a video that people could point to easily explain why the argument is nonsensical. So I don't feel the need particularly to explain why at this point. Honestly, I think it should be fucking self-evident, but you never know with white people. So even the Nazis, in comparison to like many medieval Christian states, weren't that bad. I mean, like, medieval Christian states did genocide on the Jews all the time. It was a regular fucking occurrence, and nobody did shit about it. At least most times. So the idea that following the Ten Commandments and being religious and shit would not make you like the Nazis, it's self-evidently fucking ridiculous and ahistorical. So many countries don't have a state-sanctioned murder. You could argue maybe Japan doesn't have one because it doesn't have a standing military, except for the standing military that it's trying to build right now.
It's all too easy to be swayed by a government or a demagogue or an ideology or to rationalize.
Yeah, an ideology like Christianity.
That the wrong you're doing isn't really wrong.
Bro, projection of the highest order. Okay? I'm sorry to tell you, this is projection.
And even if you do figure out what is right and wrong, God is still necessary.
Bro. You can't get away with it for a second,
People who know the difference between right and wrong,
nigga will come up with any fucking ridiculous argument. Men say you have to keep off grass because of God.
Do the wrong thing all the time. You know why? Because they can.
Amazing,
because
bro.
they think no one is watching.
Yeah, like you. You're doing this right now in this video. What the fuck?
But if you recognize that God is the source of moral law,
bro,
you believe that He is.
Bro, you're going to hell. Do you understand? Do you think Jesus would like you? Are you fucking insane? Must be a dumbass, dog. Must be a dumbass. Japan has to build pretty big military for a place like this not to have a military. Yeah, pretty much. Big difference with dictatorships of the 1990s, they could incorporate industrial techniques in their genocidal programs. Yeah, that was a big contributing factor to how a lot of the genocides, especially in the case of the Holocaust, a lot more successful than some of the other genocides and pogroms and shit that occurred against Jews in the past.
So even if you're an atheist, you would want people to live by the moral laws of the Ten Commandments.
Bro, what? Half of the Ten Commandments are like, God, 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 don't know some God, don't know some God, Don't fuck with me, so me God. Me God, me God, me God. Blah, blah, blah. So, what you're saying doesn't make any sense.
And even an atheist has to admit that the more people who believe God gave them, and therefore they are not just opinion, the better the world would be. In 3,000 years, no one has ever come up with a better system than the God-based 10 Commandments for making a better world.
How about, like, Jeremy Bentham? I would hazard a guess say that even, like, the most basic and ridiculous forms of utilitarianism would be a better way to live your life than by following the 10 Commandments. Because if you only follow the 10 Commandments, then you'd only be avoiding, like, the worst of the worst primal instinct crimes, and you'd be worshipping God. With regards to all of the other horrible shit that you can do in the context of a modern society that was not conceived of in the time of the 10 Commandments, all of that is relevant, and all of that is obviously convenient for Dennis Prager here, because he's probably doing most of that shit. So I think that he probably lives his life like that, although you never know. Again, I think he's probably like American Psycho on the low, but whatever. But even if he is following the 10 Commandments, that does not make him a good person. I have to tell you guys. I have to tell you.
And no one ever will. I'm Dennis.
You see, that kind of shows where his ideological bent is coming from. The fact that he said no one ever will shows that this is not based on logic, it's not based on evidence, facts, reality, material conditions, the real world, people, not being a dumbass, alright? This is based on what makes him feel good, alright? What makes him and other wealthy white people, the other 35,000 wealthy white people that watch this, what makes them feel good. Even though 35,000, even though the channel 2.92 million. If you're fucking doing rights, if you're doing rights-based understanding and Aristotelian, like, or if you're doing Aristotelian value judgment, then eventually you're gonna get to a point in which that causes you to make objectively harmful decisions. I'd recommend not doing that, and instead stop giving a fuck about being a good person and only give a fuck, well, not only give a fuck, but like mainly give a fuck about the outcomes of your actions. Meaning, like, I actually don't care if a person, like, technically is a good person. I'm more concerned with the actual actions that they're taking and how much they're contributing to good in the world. You know, I'm kind of like a hedonist to begin with. So, like, I don't really give a fuck about, like, most traditional morality to begin with. What I care about is people not suffering. So, if your values are leading demonstrably to people suffering, maybe you either have to reconsider your values or reconsider the way that your values relate to your morality. You know what I'm saying? So, alright, weigh the consequences of your actions and have self-awareness. Yeah, because I know, like, a lot of people are only concerned, especially a lot of leftists, a lot of famous leftists, sort of, actually one of the things I'm going to be talking about in one of my upcoming essays. A lot of people, or my next upcoming essay, I should say, a lot of people are mainly concerned with looking like a good person and not actually being a good person. Maybe you should actually mainly consider the consequences of your actions. I'm not saying you can't consider values and all the other shit, but, like, I think personally that when taking a moral action, that what you should consider first and foremost is how that action is affecting just everyone, really. You, the other person in society in general. The way that I look at things is I generally try to do what is best And I'm a fairly selfless person, so I try to do what is best for just everyone who is sort of like relevant in this moral decision, and not just me. There's a lot of people just consider them because they're selfish as fuck. I think that probably a good way of life is to try to optimize the sort of like desirable outcomes and minimize the undesirable outcomes as much as possible for everyone, not just you. I mean, like, I think it's not that bad to consider yourself maybe a bit more than the other person, but not that much. I mean, like, if it comes to a certain, I mean, like, I do think at a certain point that you are obligated, if like a situation is particularly bad, then you're probably obligated to sort of sacrifice your own comfort or your own well-being for the good of for like the sort of general good, the greater good, the good of everyone in the relevant context in which you're operating. How can we work philosophically to make things, because a lot of people sort of like they face moral decisions in a sort of adversarial way where they're trying to, one person's trying to be a good person, another person's trying to be a good person. But I think that the best way is probably to do it collaboratively, in which you try to decide what is the best moral outcome for everyone involved. Yeah, we making decisions through risk, and we have to balance our decision with possible outcomes. Yeah, exactly. All right, let me just finish this, and then, oh my god, why does this thing keep falling? So let me just finish this.
Learn more about DBU's mission to transform the world through conservative Christian higher education
Amazing.
at prageru.com/DBU.
Alright, that was it. Awful. Just like I expected.